Everyone has heard the advice. You need an emergency fund. 3 months of expenses, 6 months of expenses, some people say 12. Financial gurus throw numbers around like they're universal. Like the same answer applies to every single person regardless of their job, their families, their bills, or how they sleep at night. And most people respond one of two ways. They either stress about not having enough saved and feel perpetually behind, or they hit some arbitrary number, stop thinking about it, and assume they're covered. Neither of those is actually a plan. The truth is, the emergency fund conversation is more nuanced than anyone makes it sound, and the number that's right for you has nothing to do with what someone said on a podcast. Hey, welcome to the part they skip. The stuff they glossed over, the chapter that wasn't in the textbook, the money conversation on finance that you wish your teachers had with you. New here, hit subscribe, new video every week. And every episode comes with a free PDF, the cheat sheet of everything we covered today. Grab it in the description below. Now, before we get into it, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Everything I share here is for educational purposes only. I'm going to give you a framework for how I think about this topic, but your situation is unique. Take what makes sense, leave what doesn't, and if you're making a major financial decision, always talk to a qualified professional first. All right, let's get into it. Here's what everyone watching this actually wants. You want to stop lying awake, wondering what happens if something goes wrong. You want to know that if the car breaks down, if you lose a client, if the job disappears, you have enough runway to figure it out without everything falling apart. That's what an emergency fund really is for. Not a number on a spreadsheet, a feeling. The feeling that you have time to breathe when life goes sideways. The problem is most people are chasing a number they don't understand instead of building toward a feeling they actually need. Here's where the standard advice breaks down. 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's what you've heard. And on the surface, it sounds reasonable, but nobody ever explains what expenses mean in that context. Does it mean your bare minimum survival number, rent, food, utilities, nothing else? Or does it mean your actual monthly spending, including the subscriptions, the dinners out, the kid activities, all of it? That distinction alone can be the difference of thousands of dollars in your target number. And then there's the income side of the equation. Nobody talks about income stability when they hand out emergency fund advice. A person with a government job and a pension needs a very different cushion than a freelancer whose income swings wildly month to month. A 2-income household has a built-in safety net that a single-income household doesn't. A person with no dependents has flexibility that a parent of 3 simply doesn't have. Here's how I think about the flaw in the standard advice. 3 months of expenses for a freelance contractor with 1 income, 2 kids, and a mortgage is not the same safety net as 3 months of expenses for a single person with a stable salary and no dependents. The same number on paper is a completely different level of protection depending on your situation. And then there's the other side of the conversation that almost nobody brings up: opportunity cost. Every dollar sitting in an emergency fund is a dollar not invested, not growing, not compounding. If you're holding 12 months of expenses in a savings account, earning next to nothing while carrying no high interest debt and working a stable job with benefits, that might actually be a financial mistake. You may be sacrificing significant long-term growth for a level of security you don't actually need. The goal isn't to have as much possible in an emergency fund. The goal is to have exactly as much as your specific situation requires and not a dollar more. Here's the framework I use to think about this. There are 4 variables that determine your number. Not the internet, not a podcast, these 4 things. First, income stability. How predictable is your income month to month? Stable salary with benefits means you need less cushion. Variable or freelance income means you need more. A job you could replace quickly in your market means less. A specialized role that could take months to replace means more. Second, household structure. Single income or dual income. Dependents or no dependents. The more people relying on your income and the fewer backup income sources you have, the larger your cushion needs to be. Third, fixed obligations. What are your non-negotiable monthly expenses? Mortgage or rent, car payment, insurance, minimum debt payments. These are the numbers that can't flex when things get hard. Know this number code. It's your true floor. Fourth, access to other resources. Do you have a Roth IRA you can pull contributions from in a genuine emergency without penalty? Do you have a line of credit at a reasonable rate as a true last resort backstop? These don't replace an emergency fund, but they do affect how large it needs to be. Run those 4 variables honestly, and a number starts to emerge that actually fits your life, not someone else's. Here's the general framework I'd apply. If you have stable income, dual household earnings, and low fixed obligations, 3 months of bare minimum expenses is likely sufficient. If you have variable income, single household earnings, or high fixed obligations, 6 months is a more appropriate target. If you are self-employed, run a business, or have income that can disappear without warning, 9 to 12 months is worth considering. And critically, define expenses as your bare minimum survival number. Rent, food, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, not your lifestyle number, your floor number. Here's where to land on this. The right emergency fund is personal. It is determined by your income stability, your household structure, your fixed obligations, and what other resources you have access to. The framework is simple. Calculate your bare minimum monthly expenses, your true floor, multiply by the number of months that fits your risk profile. That's your target. Once you hit that number, stop. Put the rest to work somewhere that actually grows. 2 other things worth thinking about: keep your emergency fund somewhere accessible, but not too accessible. A high yield savings account separates from your checking. Somewhere that takes a day or 2 to transfer is ideal. Not in the market where it can drop right when you need it. Not in your checking account where it disappears into everyday spending. And revisit it when your life changes. New job, new baby, new mortgage. Your number should update when your situation updates. That's the framework. Apply what makes sense for your situation and build towards the feeling, not just the number. That's it for today. If this helped, hit like. It helps more people find the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and grab the free PDF cheat sheet in the description. Everything we covered today, ready to save or share. See you next week.